Add 1 egg to a can of tuna and you'll get a delicious meal. Let me show you how I made this. It's so good. So I'm taking a small can of tuna, a 4 or 5 ounce can with 1 large egg. And what I've done is separated the egg and yolk, and I'm adding the yolk into the can. And I'm just gonna start breaking the tuna apart and mixing it. Oh, and before I forget, I'm gonna season this. Here I have a ½ teaspoon of the salt, pepper, and garlic blend, a 1/4 teaspoon of granulated onion powder, and a ½ teaspoon to a full teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. Season how you like. I am gonna mix this in this can of tuna, or the can, because it's one less bowl that I have to wash. So now take the egg white and start whisking or whipping that into a fluffy egg white mixture. And here I'm also going to add 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. This will help to stabilize the egg whites and add crispy texture. Okay, so just continue whisking and whipping this. I'm using a milk frother. It totally works, but use the method that you prefer. And if you just want to skip this step altogether, add the entire egg into the can of tuna and mix and season. Okay, so once this is where I need it to be, I'm going to add the tuna and egg yolk mixture right into the egg white, and I'm just going to carefully mix and fold it together. Doing this will give you an airier, lighter, crispy texture to the tuna patty that I'm going to make. If you're new to my channel, welcome to Simply Mama Cooks, and if you have been subscribed for a long time, you know I'm always thankful for you. So comment down below if you like cooking and making things with canned tuna like I do, and I will show you some more recipe ideas. Okay, so in a small pan, I'm going to start to preheat it, and I'm also going to add cooking oil. I may have added a little too much, but you'll want maybe 2-3 tablespoons of cooking oil. And now I'm going to start to cook this, and this is just going to be 1 large tuna patty, or you can divide it into maybe 2 to 3. And my cooking oil was not quite as hot as I would like it, but it'll do. You'll start to see it kind of sizzle and fry on the edges, and I'm just trying to keep this all together in a uniform circular shape. I am using a medium-low to medium heat source. You don't want this to burn on the outside before the inside cooks, so just watch the heat source. Okay, so after about 1.5 to 2 minutes on one side, it should look like this. Perfectly golden brown. So cooking this takes literally less than 5 minutes. It comes together quick and cooks fast. Okay, so this is done. And it smells great. I'm going to put this on a plate. And I'm going to serve this with steamed rice. I'm just going to put a scoop on top. And I'm going to garnish with 2 things. So I created this sauce. I have a lot of sauces in my fridge that just sit there, so I combined them all. Here I have a shiitake sesame dressing, some yakitori marinade sauce, and some hoisin sauce. I mixed it all together until it tasted just right. And that is the sauce I'm going to use for this. But you can use whatever you like. Now I'm going to garnish with some scallions. And this is a meal. Again, all you add is 1 egg to a can of tuna, and you can create such a delicious meal. So let me show you some other recipes using canned tuna that I think you're going to like. You may have made them already, and it's something that I think you should try. Today's dinner is going to be potato tuna tortitas. This is going to be good. Okay, so to get started on my tuna fish potato patties, I'm going to separate 4 large eggs from the yolks and egg whites. So the egg whites go here, the yolks are going to go in a separate bowl. So I'll do this the best that I can. Tell you what, I'm gonna and now we're gonna go over here to my bowl and place the yolks there and just repeat the process for the rest of the eggs. Try not to break the yolk here. And then go over to the bowl and yolk. Okay, so here are my 4 egg yolks. To that, I am using, this is a 5-ounce can of tuna. Just dump that right in there. I also have 1 cup, this is about 225 grams of leftover mashed potatoes that I had in my fridge. You could also boil 1 medium to large potato and mash it, you know, as well, but I have this left over, so I'm going for it. So now I'm just going to break apart the tuna a little bit. And before I forget, I'm going in with some cracked black pepper, some paprika, just a little shake, maybe 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon, some salt. This is garlic powder, a little bit, onion powder, and now I'll mix and combine well. Okay, so I'm going to add, you could add all-purpose flour. I'm going with a heaping tablespoon of cornstarch. And just continue to mix that. Try not to make a mess like I am. And once this is combined and mixed, just set it aside until we need it again. But now I'm going to work on my egg whites. Okay, so now I am going to whip my egg whites until stiff peaks. Okay, so stiff peaks. See how they stand at a peak without falling? That's what you want. Okay, so here's my mixture. Here are my egg whites, and I'm gonna just do half of the egg whites and just gently fold the egg whites in. This is going to give us a very fluffy, crispy, airy, and light tuna potato patty, or tortitas de papa y atún, as a lot of you know them. And you just kind of fold and cut in the center, fold and cut. That helps to keep the fluffy egg whites fluffy. You don't want to mix them in too violently or they'll deflate. So as you can see, it's already making the mixture very fluffy. Add the rest and just repeat the process until everything is combined. Here I have a preheated pan with just a little bit of oil. It's going to be a shallow fry, and I'm just going to take a scoop it gently, and right there in my pan. They're not going to look perfect. I think I'll do 3 at a time. There we go. And I have this on a medium to medium low heat. I don't want this to burn before the inside has a chance to cook. So they're going to cook for several minutes on each side. You give them a flip and they're done. Needs to cook a little bit more before I flip it, but this is why you don't want a high heat, because if it burns on the outside, it'll stay raw on the inside if you cook it too quickly. And just gently, well, yeah, so I should have cooked a little bit more before I flipped it, but it's still going to taste good. There we go. So I'm going to place my cooked tortitas here on this plate with just a napkin. You can put it on a rack, a baking sheet with a rack, or a plate with a napkin. It all works, but this is where I will be putting the cooked ones. for the salsa, I have a small piece of onion, 3 Roma tomatoes, 1 jalapeno. I'm gonna add 2 cloves of garlic because I like garlic, but you don't have to. And I'm gonna add just like a teaspoon of the tomato chicken bouillon. I like that. Or you could just add salt to taste. And I am gonna add just a little bit of salt. Now, start with like a cup of water. Yeah, I'll go with a cup of water. Cover with the blender cup lid and puree. Now place it in a preheated pot with oil. I'm going to bring this up to a gentle simmer, and once it starts to gently simmer, I'm going to let it cook for about 10 minutes. Be sure to taste it for salt or seasoning and adjust to your preference. And that's the salsa for today. So for dinner, I made some Mexican style rice, and I will link a recipe video for this rice. Let me fluff it up a little bit, it's been sitting here. So I'm gonna add my rice to my plate. Salad, Mexican rice, and tortitas with salsa. Such a good dinner, simple, budget friendly in my opinion. So there we go. Okay, so here's my plate for dinner. And here's the salsa that we made earlier. Just gonna put a little bit on here, just like that. And there's dinner. Crispy, hear that crunch? Crispy tortitas with potato and tuna. So good. Hello everybody. So today I'm making dinner just for myself. Everyone has already eaten, and it's that time of the week where I want to make my favorite tuna fish salad, or just, you know, canned tuna salad. It's so good. I probably do eat this once a week, and I have done a recipe video for it before, but it was in a compilation, and I feel that it deserves its own video. So here we go. I'm also going to make a fresh watermelon drink, agua fresca de sandía. It's gonna be good. Okay, so let's go over the ingredients. Now, to dress the tuna fish, I am going to make this like vinaigrette with olive oil, cracked black pepper. I love it to have a little kick, so I'm adding some red pepper chili flakes. I'm gonna, add salt and pepper to taste. I'm also going to put some fresh ingredients. Oh, I'm also using a lime in place of the lemon. You could also use, some red wine vinegar to make this vinaigrette, but I'm gonna opt for the lime juice. Here, I'm also going to chop up a small avocado. Actually, I think I have another one. I'll do 2 small avocados. A small, onion. Typically, I like to add red onion, but this is what I've got today. I have half of a cucumber that needs to be used, and my canned tuna. So let's put this together. It's really my favorite. Okay, so let's make this dressing. By the way, one of my favorite condiments is Dijon mustard. I love anything with Dijon mustard in it. So I'm gonna go with just like a half teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Let's go ahead and squeeze in half of my lime. See if it fits in here. I think half of this yielded. It's like 2 tablespoons of lime juice, I would say. Now, this is optional. I like to add a little bit of chili flakes, red pepper flakes into the mix. I'm a little bit more. There we go. So, an eighth of a teaspoon, a quarter of a teaspoon. Here's some cracked black pepper. I'm gonna go in with some salt. Like 2 pinches. And if it needs more salt, you can taste it afterwards. And then I'm just gonna go with like a tablespoon and a half of good olive oil. I think that works. Okay, here we go. Shake it up, and that's the dressing. There we go. Okay, so here I've already chopped my cucumber, 2 small avocados, that little small onion. You could use red onion, or you can mince a little bit of shallot and put it in the dressing if you just don't want to crunch on raw onion. I'm gonna get a fork and just kind of break apart my tuna here, my canned tuna. That'll make it a lot easier to mix. I know some people are just like, no, don't eat tuna, or be careful with tuna, but I have to have this once a week. So now add your dressing. I'm gonna add it all. Give everything a mix, combine, and this is it. Adjust the salt and pepper if you want more crushed red pepper chili flakes. I mean, so many things you can do with this. It's really my favorite. Okay, so now it's time for my agua fresca. Here I have just chunks of watermelon. I might not even add all of these. Yeah, these need to be used. Okay, so in 1 cup of water, I've dissolved 2 tablespoons, or it's like a tablespoon and a half of sugar. Really, the sweetness is to your preference. Now I'm just going to cover with a lid, give it a whirl, and that's the drink. Okay, now just serve it over lots of ice. And that's my agua fresca de sandía. It's as easy as that. No special trick here. Yum. Okay, here we go. This is dinner, you guys. So I love to eat my tuna with totopos, or my yellow corn tortilla chips. And if this needs any extra salt, I like to add tahini to it. You don't have to do that, but I do like that chili lime salt flavor in this. And here's my drink. So let's give it a try. And, you know, you could totally eat this with crackers. I just love the lime avocado with a totopo. So good. Time for a drink. So refreshing. So I cannot express enough how I have to have this tuna salad once a week. It is absolutely my favorite. I crave this, and the agua fresca just sets it over the top. So anyways, I hope you guys give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching. Bye. Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be making an easy tuna macaroni salad. I basically raided my pantry and my fridge, and this is what I'm making for lunch today. Okay, so here I raided my pantry and my fridge. I got a lot of fresh ingredients, but basically with a can of tuna and some elbow macaroni, you can have tuna macaroni salad. So here I have an 8.82 ounce can of tuna. Maybe if you had 2 small cans of tuna, this is sort of a different, this is different than what you may find in your grocery store. And I also have some elbow macaroni. I'm going to use 8 ounces today, but if you want to go for a full pound of macaroni, then just, you know, double up the size, or if you're using small cans of tuna, 4 small cans of tuna, you know, works with that amount. I'm also going to be adding some fresh green onion, a small carrot, 1 red bell pepper. I may use half of this or the whole thing. And also the zest and juice of this lemon. I have some mayo, and I'm also going to be adding some more seasonings and spices. But first, I'm going to start boiling my macaroni noodles. Okay, so for my elbow macaroni, I have a pot of boiling water. I'm going to add a hefty handful of salt. Give that a mix. There we go. Now, right into my boiling water. You want to make sure you fully cook your elbow macaroni. You want to cook it through, because once it's done, it's not going to cook any further. It's going to be in a cold salad. So you know how when you do pasta and it kind of cooks in the sauce a little bit more? That's not the case with this. So you want to make sure you cook it to your desired doneness. Okay, so my elbow macaroni is cooked. I've drained the pasta water, and now I'm just going to spread it out on this baking sheet and let it cool. You want it to come to at least, room temperature and cool completely before you start mixing it with your other ingredients. So I'm gonna let this hang out, and I'm gonna prep my other ingredients. Okay, so I am going to start preparing, I guess, the dressing to this macaroni salad. So first things first, I'm going to start adding my fresh ingredients. Here's the carrot. I just julienned the carrot. You could grate the carrot, chop it, however you like it. My green onion. Actually, is it green or spring onion? Or is it scallions? They were kind of large to be scallions. But anyways, if you have scallions, use those. Here's half of my red bell pepper. I went ahead and just diced half of it. I'm also going to add my tuna. I broke it down to be so it's easier to mix. So now you can give that a mix. Honestly, if you want to actually dress your tuna, if you just want tuna, this works great. Now I'm going to start with half a cup of mayo. Honestly, you guys, when it comes to the mayonnaise, you are just going to have to eyeball it and find what you like best. Some people like things a lot creamier. I'm going to squeeze in my lemon juice. I'm going to start with half of this small lemon. I'm going to go in with some salt and pepper. I'll do more of the pepper and part of the salt, and if it needs more, I'll add more. I'm also going to add some smoked paprika. This is optional. There's a lot of seasonings and spices you can use for this. Sometimes I use Cajun or Creole seasoning, and I skip out on the salt and just use that. I'm also going to add some crushed, just a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes, not a lot. Yeah, that'll work. And the zest of my small lemon. By the way, for those of you that don't know, I love lemons. I love things that have lemon in the mix. Okay, so now I'm just going to mix this. But my elbow macaroni is cooled, so now I'm going to add it into the mix. By the way, I didn't mention this, but you don't want to rinse your cooked elbow macaroni in cold water when it's done. Don't do that. You want all that starchy, sticky goodness. So I'm going to give this a mix. You guys hear my son? He's starting to say cheese. I have a nonverbal autistic son, and he is starting to speak or, make sounds. So we're happy about that. And if you want, you could squeeze a little more, lemon juice, but you guys, I think this is macaroni salad. I think this is great. Okay, so to serve this, I'm going to plate it on top of some butter lettuce leaves. You can just put it in a bowl with some saltine crackers, which I will also be adding saltine crackers to as well. But I'm going to just put it right on top. And this is actually probably a good portion size for 2 people. My son and my husband are going to eat this for lunch. And I'll save the rest for later. Let me show you the tuna avocado salad that I'll be making all summer long. My family made this growing up. They called it poor man ceviche. I call it good. So I'm starting with a can of chunk-like tuna that's in water. This is a 12-ounce can, but once it's drained, it's about 9 ounces of tuna. I have cilantro, onion, jalapeno that needs to be used. I'm going to be adding some fresh squeezed lime juice, tomato. I also wish I had 2 avocados, but I only had 1, so I'm going with it. Okay, and I'm going to be seasoning with some garlic, pepper, and salt. Fresh garlic also works. So I'm going to dice my onion, and I'm just going to start chopping and dicing all of the fresh ingredients. So this tuna salad is very versatile. Sometimes I just like to add any type of fresh vegetable here. I have some cucumbers that need to be used. It's going in. And sometimes I add cherry radishes and even carrot. I'll say that the jalapeno is optional. Sometimes my family would put serrano peppers. That's just too spicy for me, so I went with jalapeno. Once I get this can of tuna open, I am going to drain the water well. Also, if you don't have tuna and you have some leftover salmon that you baked, you can flake that up and add that instead. So tuna goes into the bowl, and I use this little wire mesh strainer that really helped to get the water. Okay, so now I'm going to add all of my chopped fresh ingredients. And quite honestly, if I had more avocado, like I stated earlier, I would use more avocado. But I just saw this can of tuna. I need to make something for a late lunch. And I had like tomato, lime that needs to be used, that jalapeno needed to be used, so I thought this was perfect. And I do this quite often. So I'm going to squeeze in fresh lime juice, and a lot of the ratios are up to you. I'm probably going to add more lime juice later, but you can start with maybe 1 large lime, the juice of 1 large lime. And for my people that taste soap when they use cilantro, you can leave it out. Okay, so going in with my avocado that I just sort of diced up, I'm just going to add that into the bowl. So I'm going to season with this garlic, salt, and pepper mix, the seasoning blend that I have, but you can add a clove of fresh garlic into the mix, salt to taste. Sometimes I even like to add tahini into the mix, but today this is for my son, myself, and my husband, and they don't want tahini in it. But if I were making it for myself, I would. Okay, I need more lime juice going into this, so I'm using another lime. In all, it's like 2 medium limes that I used, but you know, not all limes are super juicy, so it just depends how much juice you can get out of your fresh lime. Okay, so that's going in. I'm also going to add some more of the seasoning because I think it needs it, and some salt to taste. I'm going to give that a mix, and this is it. This is the avocado tuna salad that I'll be making. I love to eat it with totopos or the corn tortilla chips, and this is ready. I've already made this. This is my 2nd time this week, and it's just going to be the summer tuna salad. I love it. Okay, I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.